Thank you very much for nice introduction. Dignitaries on the dais, Dr. Vats, who is presiding this inaugural function, the chief guest, Shri Muktesh Pardesi ji, Professor Sadgopan, Shri Birje ji, Shri Bindal ji, Shri Vats, of the dais, the distinguished academicians, eminent teachers, my dear students, ladies and gentlemen. This is the very right occasion that we have this summit in an institution of repute. We were talking about the theme Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The definition of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, if I talk in a different parlance, the concept of my and mine is quite general. हमारे यहाँ जो मेरा का कॉन्सेप्ट है वो मेरा मेरे तक सीमित नहीं है. मेरा परिवार, मेरा समाज, मेरा देश और इस वसुधा पर रहने वाले सभी प्राणी, केवल मनुष्य नहीं, even microorganisms, they need to be cared. So that is what the noble thought we had, and we are going to make it a point to the people from different parts of the country, different parts of the world. If I talk about the developments, Dr. Vats has given a very nice overview. If I go back, when we were all faced with the challenge of COVID, it was the country India. बात हो रही थी ना कि इतने लोगों को कौन वैक्सीनेट करेगा. लोग प्रतीक्षा कर रहे थे कि यहाँ तो कैलेमिटीज होंगी, ढेर सारे लोग चले जाएंगे. We had our own vaccine, not only for us, but the countries, those who could not dream of having their vaccine or get the vaccine imported from outside, they all got benefited from our vaccine. So this is what we demonstrated, and it is because of that people from different countries, they are going to get assembled here and take the message forward. The technology that has transformed at a very quick pace. जब फेराडे ने कभी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी की खोज की थी, उन्होंने कुछ एक्सपेरिमेंट्स किए थे. It took 50 years to get that concept of science translated into technology. उनसे किसी ने पूछा कि ये सब क्या है, इससे क्या होगा. तो उन्होंने कहा कि हम यही बता सकते हैं कि at one point of time you will get revenue out of the tax of electricity. वो उस समय उनको नहीं पता था कि आने वाले दिनों में अगर आप फ्री कर देंगे बिजली तो आप सरकार बदल सकते हैं. ये उन्होंने शायद IIT से पढ़ाई नहीं की थी तो इसलिए उनको नहीं पता था. The problem is that the shrinking domain of time, in 50 years, that concept got translated. Later on, when Watson and Crick came out of this idea of having double helix of DNA, it took 30 years to get converted into genetic engineering. But very recently, when the carbon nanotube was discovered by Ijima, within 10 years, it got implemented in logic circuits. So the point is, the disruptions which are going to take place, they'll be short-lived, there'll be a peak. And to address that peak, to make ourselves capable of handling or coping with the challenges of that disruption which is going to take at a very rapid pace, we need to have this lifelong learning scheme. The students, and you all know that country India produces the most brilliant people, intelligent people. There is a survey of United Nations. They studied the study pattern of all the students across the world. I'll take example of two. One is China. They said that the students of China, they are diligent. They learn each and every line heart by heart. And they're not satisfied. They chase their teachers till they get all the information. In India, the students are smart, they are intelligent. But the problem is they learn only, they learn only that part of the syllabus which is important for the syllabi, which is going to get asked in your examination. So we focus only, and we could get that kind of artificial intelligence inbuilt into the system, that we study the unsolved papers and then find which is more important from the perspective of examination, then we read that part. So fine. But how to handle the disruption which we are going to talk about in terms of futuristic technologies? I'll give another example. If you deposit your money in bank, and if suppose 7% per annum is the interest rate, your money gets doubled in few years, 7 to 10 years. It is the same pace by which technology has developed. So over a period of 300 years, million times more development has taken place. And you can say in a different words that in 30 years, whatever knowledge has been generated, it is more than what we had in 5,000 years. The lopsided effect of this part is that this technology has become unsustainable. Why unsustainable? Water bodies are at stress. This galloping consumption, the divide between haves and have-nots have started widening up. And the earth, which is quite capable of handling your need, is being exploited because of your greed. So now we have to think of sustainable development, and that too, people in India, Dr. Vats was giving the number of people who are, those who inhabit this earth, in this part of country, Jambu Dvipe, that density of population is too much. So coming to what we can offer them and how we can, कण कण में जो भगवान है ना, कैसे कण कण में इंडियन कैसे वहाँ पहुँचे, तो that is the concept which we are bringing up in terms of gig economy. The flexibility in your employable situation, you can work from home, you can contribute to having this digital platform, which is again, और वैक्सीन के समय में आपने देखा था, अभी भी बाहर में क्या होता है कि इफ यू गेट वैक्सीनेटेड, कोई हाथ से लिख के देगा कि आपका वैक्सीनेशन हो गया. In our country, the moment we got our schedule fixed, we got inoculated. The moment you came out of that inoculation center, you got a certificate printed in your mobile. So if you say UPI, by the time I have said UPI, 7,000 transaction has taken place during that only small span of time. That was dream at one point of time. We had no Jan Dhan account, we had no accounts, and now every vendor has got Google Pay and all the means by which they can get this digital platform. Very well, they are using that. Because, we are going to have this summit and many of the dignitaries are going to get hosted in the country. And Sri Muktesh Pradeshi ji is at the helms of affairs, so he's having very precious time, so I'll not take too much of time. But the end, Dr. Vats highlighted about the looking inside. So yogic exercises is not only limited to doing some kind of सूक्ष्म व्यायाम कि अपने सांस को ऊपर नीचे किया, नहीं. Consciousness, knowing what after the death, what is the important, the soul, which we talk about in our philosophical thoughts. Can we think of the consciousness, what leads to consciousness? And very recently the Nobel Prize, which was shared in physics, that talked about quantum entanglement, quantum teleportation, and the days are not far when we are going to understand this concept of consciousness, which is built in our thought process, in our knowledge system, so nicely that every stream of philosophical thought talks about something about the Atma, about the Paramatma, and also how we get delineated, and what is the ultimate aim of our life. So the days which we are looking for, can we understand, can we resolve the mysteries of life? We can go deeper into subatomic particles. We can go and search about the smallest constituent unit of a building block, Higgs boson, or for that matter, different kind of particle classifications. But can we look inside that what makes us conscious? So I congratulate you all for having this wonderful event in which the students, they'll get an opportunity to have a idea how our country is progressing and how can we take advantage of changing world scenario in which India is going to play a lead role. So each of us has to resolve that how we are going to play an important role in building our nation first, and how the humanity will get benefited with our contribution. And lastly, before consciousness, it is not only physical health that challenges you. The countries that are considered to be developed, that country that is too much of having advancement, they have the problem of mental health. The people are becoming drug addict, they are having all kinds of problems. So how can we resolve those issues? This is what the opportunity we have, and we are all fortunate that having young population, demographic dividend, if we are going to reap the benefit of this gig economy, definitely we are going to be all pervasive. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity. Namaskar.